What if the darkest moment of your life became the beginning of your greatest testimony? Every day, people battle addictions they can't break, guilt they can't escape, loneliness that consumes them, depression that steals their hope, and doubts that leave them questioning whether God is even there. But what if grace is greater than every failure? In this audio, you'll experience 6 unforgettable stories of redemption. Stories of broken lives restored by the transforming power of Jesus Christ. You'll meet people trapped by drug addiction, consumed by greed, crushed by loneliness, enslaved by lust, scarred by abuse and depression. And even someone who rejected God in the name of science. Each story is different. Each struggle is real. Yet every journey leads to the same truth. No one is beyond the reach of God's love. If you've ever wondered whether God can forgive the past, heal the broken, or change a life completely, these stories are for you. So settle in, open your heart, and witness the incredible power of redemption through God's amazing grace. Because no matter how far you've fallen, His grace reaches farther. Redeemed. 6 stories of grace. Story 1. The first pill. Marcus had never considered himself a drug user. He was 23 when someone handed him a prescription pain pill at a party. The music was loud, the room was crowded, and everyone seemed to be laughing without a care in the world. "It'll just help you relax," his friend said. Marcus swallowed it without thinking. For the first time in years, the anxiety inside him disappeared. He felt warm, confident, and free. He did not know that one small pill would eventually take his job, his apartment, his relationships, and nearly his life. At first, Marcus used only on weekends. Then he began looking forward to the next party more than anything else. Before long, he was buying pills during the week. When the pills became too expensive and difficult to find, he turned to stronger substances. He lied to his mother. He stole money from his brother. He disappeared for days and returned with explanations no one believed. Every time Marcus promised to stop, he meant it. But when sickness, panic, and cravings came, his promises disappeared. His mother continued leaving messages. "Marcus, I love you. Please come home." He deleted them without answering. One rainy evening, Marcus woke behind a closed convenience store. His clothes were wet, his hands were shaking, and he could not remember how he had gotten there. Beside him was a photograph he had carried in his wallet for years. It showed him as a child sitting on his father's shoulders outside their church. His father had died when Marcus was 16. Marcus stared at the photograph and remembered something his father used to say. "You can run from God's son, but you can never run beyond his reach." Marcus began to cry. For the first time, he stopped blaming the party, his friends, his anxiety, and his grief. He admitted the truth. He was addicted, and he could not save himself. Marcus whispered into the darkness, "Jesus, I don't know whether you still want me, but I need you. Please don't let me die like this." Nothing dramatic happened. The rain continued falling, the alley remained cold, but Marcus stood up. He called his mother. She did not lecture him when she arrived. She wrapped a blanket around him and drove him to a hospital. From there, Marcus entered a medically supervised treatment program. Recovery was painful. He experienced cravings, anger, shame, and moments when he wanted to leave. A Christian counselor helped him understand that surrendering to God did not mean pretending the addiction no longer existed. It meant allowing God to guide him through treatment, honesty, accountability, and daily obedience. Marcus joined a recovery group at a local church. At his first meeting, he could barely speak. "My name is Marcus," he finally said, "and one pill became the center of my life."
Months later, he apologized to his brother and began repaying the money he had stolen. His brother did not trust him immediately, but Marcus stopped demanding quick forgiveness. He understood that redemption required patience. Years later, Marcus became a certified recovery peer specialist. He began visiting treatment centers and speaking to young adults who believed they were only experimenting. He never described himself as a man who had conquered addiction through willpower. He described himself as a man who had finally surrendered. Whenever someone asked what saved him, Marcus answered, "God met me in an alley, but he did not leave me there. He led me to people who knew how to help me walk home."
Story 2. The Cost of Winning. Vanessa Cole believed success belonged to those strong enough to take it. She had grown up watching her parents struggle financially. She remembered overdue notices on the kitchen table and arguments about money behind closed doors. As a teenager, she promised herself she would never be powerless again. By 35, Vanessa had built a thriving real estate company. By 40, she owned several properties, drove an expensive car, and had more money than her parents had earned in their entire lives. But success had changed from her goal into her god. She manipulated business partners, took credit for other people's work, and fired employees days before their commissions were due. When her younger sister needed help caring for their sick mother, Vanessa sent money, but refused to give her time. "I have responsibilities," she said. "I can't stop my life every time someone has a problem." Her oldest friend, Rachel, warned her, "You are becoming the kind of person you used to hate." Vanessa ended the friendship. She convinced herself that everyone criticizing her was jealous. Then came the deal that was supposed to make her untouchable. Vanessa pressured an elderly family into selling their property far below its value. She knew they were frightened and confused, but she used their desperation against them. When the transaction was completed, her attorney congratulated her. Vanessa smiled, but something inside her felt empty. A few months later, her mother died. At the funeral, Vanessa looked around and realized how few people came near her. Her sister remained polite, but distant former friends avoided her eyes. Employees attended because they felt obligated. Vanessa had spent her life climbing over people, only to discover that there was no one beside her when she reached the top. After the service, she entered the small church where her mother had worshipped for 30 years. Everyone else had gone home. Vanessa sat alone near the back. On the platform stood a wooden cross. She remembered mocking her mother's faith. "Prayer doesn't pay bills," Vanessa had once said. Her mother had answered, "No, but money cannot love you when your heart becomes empty." Vanessa lowered her head. For the first time, she saw her ambition for what it had become. She had not simply worked hard. She had worshipped power. She had sacrificed loyalty, compassion, and family because she feared becoming poor. "God," she whispered, "I have everything I asked for, and I have destroyed everything that mattered." She expected condemnation. Instead, she remembered the words of Jesus that her mother often quoted. "What does it profit a person to gain the whole world and lose their soul?" Vanessa surrendered her life to Christ that afternoon. But her redemption did not end with a prayer. She contacted the elderly family and offered to reverse the property transaction. When that was no longer possible, she paid them the difference between what she had given them and the property's fair value. She apologized to former employees and paid commissions she had withheld. Some accepted her apology, others did not. Vanessa met with Rachel. "I used you until you stopped agreeing with me." Vanessa admitted, "You were right about me." Rachel did not immediately restore the friendship, but Vanessa accepted that. Her most difficult conversation was with her sister. "I treated money as a substitute for love,"
Vanessa said, "I left you alone when Mom needed us." Her sister cried, "I did not need your checks, Vanessa. I needed my sister." Vanessa began rebuilding her life through service rather than control. She changed the policies of her company, created hardship protections for vulnerable sellers, and established an employee profit-sharing program. She remained successful, but success no longer owned her. Vanessa eventually placed a framed photograph of her mother in her office. Beneath it were the words, "People are not obstacles, they are souls." Vanessa had once believed redemption meant escaping the consequences of her actions. She learned that redemption meant allowing God to change her heart, and then returning to repair what greed had broken. Greed had broken.
Story 3. The years behind him. Daniel Ruiz was 54 years old and convinced that his life had already ended. He still woke up every morning, went to work, paid his bills, and answered when people spoke to him. But inside, he lived among the ruins of his younger years. Daniel had dropped out of college at 20. He had married at 24 and divorced by 30. He had abandoned several dreams, lost contact with friends, and spent decades moving between jobs he never loved. Whenever he saw photographs of former classmates celebrating careers, grandchildren, or anniversaries, he felt ashamed. He began avoiding people. When coworkers invited him to lunch, he declined. When his sister called, he let the phone ring. He spent evenings alone in a dark apartment, scrolling through other people's lives and mourning the one he believed he should have lived. Daniel called it loneliness. In truth, much of it was self-pity. He had made mistakes, but he had also turned those mistakes into a prison. He replayed every failure until guilt became his identity. One Sunday morning, Daniel entered a diner and saw an old classmate named Samuel sitting with his family. Samuel recognized him immediately. "Daniel, sit with us." Daniel almost left, but Samuel pulled out a chair. During breakfast, Daniel listened as Samuel spoke honestly about losing his business, battling alcoholism, and nearly destroying his own family. Daniel was stunned. From social media, Samuel's life had appeared perfect. "How did you turn it around?" Daniel asked. Samuel pointed toward the church across the street. "I stopped asking God to give me back the life I wasted. I asked him what he wanted to do with the life I still had." Daniel reluctantly agreed to attend church. The pastor spoke about a man named Peter who had denied Jesus and believed his failure had disqualified him. Yet Jesus restored Peter and gave him a purpose. Daniel felt as though the message had been written specifically for him. He had spent years believing that regret was proof of humility, but his regret had become another form of pride. He was so focused on his failures that he had stopped believing God could do anything beyond them. After the service, Daniel remained in his seat. "I wasted so much time," he told the pastor. The pastor sat beside him. "Then stop wasting today by worshiping yesterday." Daniel closed his eyes. "Jesus, I give you the young man I failed to become. I give you the years I cannot recover. Please show me what to do with the years that remain." Daniel began attending a men's group. He received counseling and learned to separate healthy remorse from destructive shame. He called his sister and admitted that he had isolated himself because he was embarrassed by his life. She answered, "I never needed you to be impressive. I just missed my brother." Daniel enrolled in evening classes and completed the degree he had abandoned more than 3 decades earlier. He did not do it to erase his past. He did it because he no longer believed his age made growth meaningless. He also began mentoring young men who were considering dropping out of school. He told them the truth about his choices, but he never spoke as though his life was over. At 57,
Daniel stood at a graduation ceremony wearing a cap and gown. His sister and church family cheered from the audience. He knew a diploma could not restore every lost opportunity. But Christ had restored something greater: hope. Daniel had spent years staring backward, asking what his life might have been. Now he looked forward and asked a different question. God, what can my life become in your hands?
Story 4. Behind the screen. Adrian first discovered pornography as a teenager. At the time, it seemed secret, harmless, and disconnected from real life. He told himself he could stop whenever he wanted. Years later, Adrian was married with 2 children, yet the secret remained. Whenever he felt stressed, rejected, bored, or insecure, he escaped behind a screen over time. His mind became shaped by fantasy. Real intimacy required patience, vulnerability, and sacrifice. The images on his screen demanded nothing from him. His wife, Marisol, sensed the distance. She asked whether something was wrong. Adrian denied it. He blamed work, he blamed exhaustion. Sometimes he blamed her. When Marisol eventually discovered his hidden accounts and repeated lies, she was devastated. "This is not just about what you watched," she told him. "It is about the life you hid from me." Adrian promised to stop, but his promises were based on panic, not transformation. He deleted files and installed filters, yet eventually found ways around them. The marriage deteriorated. Marisol moved out with the children. Alone in the house, Adrian expected to feel free instead. He felt exposed. The addiction that had promised pleasure had left him unable to respect himself. He avoided mirrors. He stopped attending church because he felt like a fraud. One night, Adrian opened his computer and saw his reflection in the dark screen. He began to cry. He remembered Jesus' words about bringing hidden things into the light. Adrian had always interpreted those words as a threat that night. He began to understand them as an invitation. He called his pastor. "I have ruined my marriage." Adrian said, "I don't even know who I am anymore." The pastor replied, "What you have done is serious, but your sin does not have to be the final authority over your identity." Adrian confessed everything. He accepted Christ not as a religious covering for his behavior, but as Lord over the parts of his life he had refused to surrender. He began specialized counseling for compulsive sexual behavior. He joined an accountability group, gave up secret devices, and stopped demanding that Marisol trust him immediately. He learned that pornography had not simply damaged his marriage. It had trained him to view other people as objects and taught him to escape discomfort instead of facing it. For months, Marisol remained separated from him. Adrian continued his recovery even when reconciliation was uncertain. He realized that true repentance was not a performance designed to get his wife back. It was obedience to God whether or not he received the outcome he wanted. During counseling, Adrian said, "I thought I was looking for pleasure. I was really trying to avoid feeling inadequate." His counselor helped him confront the wounds and insecurities beneath the addiction. Adrian apologized to Marisol without excuses. "I betrayed your trust," he said. "You did not cause this, and you are not responsible for fixing me." After a long period of separation, counseling, and demonstrated change, Marisol agreed to slowly rebuild the marriage. Their restoration was neither immediate nor easy. Adrian learned that intimacy was not about taking. It was about seeing, honoring, listening, and serving. Years later, he began helping other men step out of secrecy. He never presented himself as someone beyond temptation. He spoke honestly about boundaries, accountability, and daily dependence on Christ.
The screen promised me a world where I could have everything without giving anything. Adrian told them Jesus taught me that love gives itself away. His marriage carried scars, but the scars no longer represented only betrayal. They also testified that truth had entered the place where secrecy once ruled. Hey Al, during counseling, Adrian said,
Story 5. The child no one protected. Elena grew up in a house where adults noticed everything except her pain. Her father's anger controlled the family. Her mother, overwhelmed and frightened, often looked away. Some days Elena was screamed at, other days she was ignored entirely. When she tried to tell a relative that someone in the family was hurting her, she was warned not to cause trouble. So Elena learned to disappear while remaining in the room. She became quiet, obedient, and watchful. She studied people's expressions so she could sense danger before it arrived. As an adult, Elena appeared capable. She worked hard, helped everyone, and rarely complained. But inside, she carried the belief that she was unwanted. Depression followed her for years. Some mornings, getting out of bed felt impossible. She felt guilty for being sad because other people seemed to have endured worse. She attended church occasionally, but struggled whenever people described God as a loving father. The word father did not make her feel safe. It made her afraid. Elena prayed for the depression to disappear. When it did not, she assumed God was disappointed in her. One evening, after several days of barely eating or sleeping, Elena called a Christian counseling center. Her voice shook as she spoke. "I think something is wrong with me." The counselor answered, "Something happened to you that is not the same as something being wrong with you." Those words broke through years of shame. Elena began trauma-informed therapy and received medical care for her depression. Her counselor never treated faith and treatment as enemies. She helped Elena understand that seeking help was not evidence of weak faith. It was an act of courage. During one session, Elena described the abuse in detail for the first time. "Why didn't God stop it?" she asked. The counselor did not offer a shallow answer. "What happened to you was evil," she said. "God did not call it love. He did not approve it, and He is not asking you to pretend it did not matter." Elena slowly began reading the Gospels. She noticed how Jesus responded to wounded people. He did not shame them for their pain. He saw those others ignored. He defended the vulnerable and confronted those who abused power. One night, Elena prayed, "Jesus, I have spent my life believing I was the child no one protected. I don't understand everything, but I am asking you to become the safe place I never had." Healing came slowly. She learned to set boundaries with family members. She stopped confusing forgiveness with unlimited access. She understood that forgiving someone did not require denying what happened or abandoning justice. There were still difficult days. Faith did not erase every symptom or memory, but Elena no longer faced them alone or in silence. She joined a support group for adult survivors of childhood abuse. Eventually, she began volunteering with an organization that advocated for neglected children. At a fundraising event, Elena shared part of her story. "For years, I believed surviving was the most I could ever do," she said. "But God did not only help me survive, He taught me that I have dignity, a voice, and a purpose." After the event, a young woman approached her. "I thought I was the only one," the woman whispered. Elena took her hand. "You are not alone, and what happened to you was not your fault." In that moment, Elena understood something about redemption. God had not rewritten her childhood and called it good. He had entered the wounded places, exposed the lies placed upon her, and helped her turn pain into protection for others. The child no one protected had become a woman who refused to look away. Story 6. The Evidence of Grace. Dr. Elias Mercer had spent most of his adult life studying the universe. He taught physics at a respected university and was known for dismantling religious arguments with precision. He understood equations, gravity, energy, and the language of the stars. He also understood Christianity. He had grown up in church and knew the Bible stories, hymns, and promises of miracles, purpose, and hope. But when his younger brother was diagnosed with leukemia, everything changed. His parents prayed, the church prayed, Elias prayed until his voice was gone. He begged God for healing and waited for a miracle that never came. His brother died anyway. At the funeral, Elias felt betrayed by the God he had trusted. Grief hardened into anger, and anger became unbelief. From that day forward, he told himself faith was only an emotional shelter for people afraid to face reality. Science became more than his profession. It became his shield against sorrow. In the classroom, Elias challenged every mention of God. He said he was defending reason. But secretly he was still fighting the God he claimed did not exist. If there was no God, why was Elias still angry with him? Years later, one of his brightest students, Naomi, came to him after her father died unexpectedly. "I don't know how to make sense of it," she said. Elias gave her the answer he had repeated for decades. The universe does not owe us meaning. Naomi looked at him through tears. "That may work in your equations, Professor, but it does not help me bury my father." Her words followed him home. At the funeral, the pastor spoke about Jesus standing outside the tomb of Lazarus. Jesus knew resurrection was coming, yet he still wept. Elias had forgotten that verse. For the first time in decades, he considered that the God of Christianity was not distant from suffering. He entered it. He stood beside the grieving. He cried at the grave. That night, Elias opened the Gospel of John. He read like a hostile researcher, writing objections in the margins. But the more he read, the more unsettled he became. He studied scientists who believed in God and discovered that faith and scientific investigation were not enemies. Science could describe stars, cells, and the brain's response to grief. But it could not explain why love felt greater than chemistry, why injustice awakened moral outrage, or why the heart hungered for meaning. One night, while cleaning an old closet, Elias found his brother's Bible. Inside was a handwritten message. "Elias, knowing about Jesus is not the same as trusting him." Elias sat on the floor for a long time. He realized he had spent 30 years collecting arguments against God because surrender terrified him. If God was real, he would have to face his grief, his pride, and the possibility that he was not the highest authority in his own life. For the first time in 3 decades, he prayed, "Jesus, I know the arguments, but I have used knowledge to hide from pain. I cannot solve you like an equation or measure grace in a laboratory. Meet me in the questions I cannot answer." Nothing dramatic happened. The room did not shake. No voice came from heaven. His grief did not disappear. But something inside him broke open. For the first time, Elias stopped demanding that God explain himself before he would trust him. He wept for his brother and for the years he had spent running. Then he understood that doubt had not been his greatest enemy. Pride had been. Elias did not abandon science. He returned to the university with greater respect for evidence, logic, and intellectual honesty. But he no longer used science as a weapon against faith. He told his students, "Science is powerful for understanding the natural world, but knowing how something happens is not always the same as knowing why it matters." Elias began attending church again. He asked difficult questions and refused shallow answers. His faith grew through trust in the middle of uncertainty. On the anniversary of his brother's death, Elias visited the cemetery and placed his hand upon the headstone. "I still wish you had been healed," he whispered. "I still do not understand." Then he looked toward the sky.
But I no longer believe death has the final word. The scientist continued studying the heavens, but when he looked into the night sky, he no longer saw a cold universe emptied of meaning. He saw wonder, order, unanswered questions, and a God great enough not to fear them. Redemption did not erase Elias's grief. It gave his grief somewhere to go. It did not answer every question. It taught him who to trust when answers did not come. After 30 years of running, Elias finally prayed, "Jesus, I cannot restore myself. I give you my anger, my pride, my sorrow, and everything I cannot understand. Take what is broken in me and teach me how to live again." That was the evidence of grace.
If you enjoyed these stories of redemption, healing, and God's amazing grace, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these messages reach more people who may need hope, encouragement, and a reminder that no life is beyond God's power to restore. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you.